Please watch all this because this is Donald Trump's America. They are terrorizing American citizens. Terrorizing American citizens. Watch this.
We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens. I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off. I kept asking them, like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house.
They ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed. The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house.
I don't care who you are not safe from these ICE raids. If you think that you are safe from ICE raids just because you're a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident or have legal status, you are dead wrong. We just discovered Trump's new quota system, and it is worse than you could possibly imagine. Trump's ICE agents have a new secret quota, 75 arrests per day per office. That's 1,800 people every single day. Here's the terrifying part. They're focused on numbers, not the bad guys. My clients with pending immigration cases arrested. People with clean records being arrested. Parents, workers being arrested. ICE even recently arrested a U.S. military veteran. When the goal is mass deportation now, due process, common sense, and public safety all goes right out the window.
ICE is now targeting United States citizens, and we warned you this was going to happen and you didn't want to listen. So there's a doctor here in Connecticut, in my state, in my district of all places, that has received a letter from ICE, right, saying that you need to self-deport or legal action will be taken against you, i.e. we will come arrest you and throw you in a detention center. Well, you say, who's this doctor, Kyle? Well, this doctor is a white woman from Philadelphia who lives in Connecticut. From Philadelphia, who lives in Connecticut. Her name is Lisa Anderson. Can you get more of an Americanized name than Lisa Anderson?
What's up YouTube family, welcome back to my space. This is Evans Rayola. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch today's episode. So guys, on today's video we want to uncover the actions that are happening right now in America of the ICE agents. There's a secret executive order apparently from Trump. You know, Trump has issued a secret order to ensure that there are at least 75 arrests per office, per each ICE offices. That will be about 1,800 people being arrested every day. They are not focused on if you're a US citizen or not. They are focused on numbers and not the bad guys. They've even arrested, allegedly, a US military veteran. It's becoming crazy and unbearable in America. Babylon is falling. Judgment has come to America. I think it's time for Americans to seek God, to seek for God's intervention, to seek prayers, because what is happening right now in America is just unbearable. And these are just, according to me, judgment falling upon America. Babylon is falling. Why would ICE agents, attack families? Why would ICE agents arrest even children? Why would they just get into houses without checking their records well, arresting even American citizens? So guys, I've compiled a series of videos of white Americans breaking down, crying, saying that it's becoming too much. The ICE agents do not care if you're a citizen or not. They are there on a mission to ensure that the numbers keep adding up of arrests. Some of them even claim that some of their properties have been stolen in their houses in the times of arrests. So guys, I wanted to watch this series of videos. Once they are done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins, now and at the hour of our death.
They do not have a warrant.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Y'all, this video had me in tears. Who are we? What are we doing that this is okay? This woman in Massachusetts had ICE show up at her door while she was holding a young infant, and her neighbors formed a human chain around her to protect her from ICE agents, and they ripped them away and slammed her 16-year-old daughter into the ground. She was carted off with her 16-year-old daughter holding her infant daughter in her arms, screaming as their mom was put into an unmarked vehicle. Her neighbors were fucking praying out loud as ICE agents descended around them and pulled them off of her one by one so that they could put her into the unmarked car. You know what you are watching here, and it's really not that different from what happened in 1930s Germany. They are picking people off one by one who are no longer welcome in America. That was not what America is, and it's not what America was meant to be. And the only hope that we have is to be like these women who formed a fucking human chain between their neighbor and the ICE agents trying to rip her away from her home and be so fucking disruptive that we're too much of a problem for them to keep disappearing. Our
That was an ICE raid that took place in Massachusetts on Thursday. Neighbors were trying to stop these agents from detaining a mother who was with two young children, including a newborn baby. Those screams that you heard in that video are of family members, friends, loved ones watching their lives and their family get ripped apart right in front of them simply because Donald Trump has a vendetta against people who don't look like him or don't speak like him or don't pray like him or don't love like him. And let me just be 100% honest. No BS, because I'm sick of people being nice about this stuff. If you watched that video and you smiled and you laughed and you were happy and you think that this is a good thing, you are a bad person. Your morals are bad, and Donald Trump is a horrible human being for doing this to people.
Breaking news. Last night around 3 in the morning, a family in Bakersfield, California was raided by ICE. Not because they were criminals, not because they were a threat, but because this government under Donald Trump has decided that families, real human beings, are collateral damage in the name of immigration enforcement. The man they took, a father of 3, no criminal record, he had a temporary protection status. He had been going to all of his immigration check-ins. He was doing everything right. But ICE agents still stormed into his home while his wife and kids were sleeping. They shattered the front door. They came in with rifles and tactical gear. His children, small children, watched him get dragged away in handcuffs while they screamed for their dad. Imagine that. Imagine your own kids being woken up by shouting, by boots slamming the floor, by the sound of fathers being taken. What kind of trauma does that leave behind? This isn't just policy. This is cruelty. When fear was the point, when ICE had permission to terrorize families in the middle of the night, when people trying to build a life here were treated like fugitives. Let's be really clear. This man had legal protection. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't dangerous. He was a father, a husband, and a worker. His only crime was trying to stay here and raise his kids. Now his wife is left alone trying to comfort children who don't understand why their daddy is gone or if he's ever going to come back. I know this story won't trend like celebrity gossip or sports, but it matters because what happened to his family could happen to thousands more. I'm going to keep tracking this case and tell you the truth as it unfolds. If you feel something hearing this, don't just scroll. Follow me on Instagram and Substack. Share this. Speak out, because no child in America should have to wake up screaming because of the government. No child.
ICE just raided a home in Oklahoma City, not of undocumented immigrants, but of U.S. citizens. They dragged out a mother and her daughters and took their money. Agents stormed the house with a warrant for someone who didn't even live there anymore. The family had just moved. The mother says they were forced outside in their underwear. humiliated, terrified, and left without answers. ICE took their phones, their laptops, their cash savings. No one told them how to get it back. No apology, no explanation. The FBI confirmed it wasn't gold. The U.S. Marshals denied. ICE silent. And this happened under a new Oklahoma operation that gives ICE more local power even over people with citizenship. Her daughters are traumatized for life, and all she asked was, why would they do this to us? This isn't law enforcement, this is state-sponsored fear. What do you all think?
Breaking fucking news. Exactly what I said would happen, happened. It's predictable at this point. I made a video the other day and I said that ICE is now busting into people's homes. The memo was leaked that they are just going ahead, raiding straight into homes. And that's what happened. They raided a home in Oklahoma City. Everyone inside that home is a U.S. citizen, was screaming during the raid, "We're U.S. citizens, what are you doing?" They didn't listen. They detained them all. They cuffed them. They took their phones, their laptops. They terrorized them. Again, all while they're screaming, "What are you doing? We are U.S. citizens." All of this happening in front of children, scarring children. And wouldn't you know, they're U.S. citizens. They were at a house that didn't have anyone that they were trying to arrest. The people they wanted to arrest, they don't live there. They didn't do their fucking research. And they are so lucky that they weren't met with the same force that they used to get inside that home. It's exactly what I said would happen. And you know what? There was no accountability. There was no apology to this family, no accountability, nothing. Nothing. And here's a news article because I know you all want to have a news source. The family is remaining anonymous, and as they should. They are probably scarred for their life. And this just goes to show what happens when you have unchecked power. We have idiots running this country. They cannot even go to the right fucking house. And something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. And I called it. I said, this isn't gonna end well. It's been, 2 days since I made that video, and look where we are. Look where we are.
It is time for you to leave the United States. That's the email that Nicole Maccheroni got from the Department of Homeland Security just last week. That email went on to say she had to leave within 7 days or, quote, the government will find you. But here's the thing. Maccheroni is a U.S. citizen, born and raised in Massachusetts, and an immigration attorney. Walk us through what happened and what DHS is saying, which is, as I understand it, you have to leave.
It does seem like crazy town. So I got an email from DHS on Friday morning. I am an immigration attorney. It came to my work email. I get emails from DHS. I get emails from ICE, usually about clients. This one was a little bit different because there was no client name on it. There was no case number on it. It was just my information, and they were asking me to leave the United States.
So there's this huge allegation going on. This woman that is being called Marissa is claiming that ICE agents illegally entered her home and took her and her 3 children, some of which were underage, did not allow them to get fully dressed. They were in their undergarments outside in the rain as ICE ransacked this home that they were living in. Apparently took their phones away, their laptops, and according to her, allegedly, she had her life savings in cash, and ICE allegedly took all of this. Now, according to her story, she is saying that the ICE agents claimed to have a search warrant, but upon review of that search warrant, the names that they were looking for were of the previous residents, because she had only been living in Oklahoma for the past 2 weeks after she had left Maryland. And according to her story, she is alleging that ICE, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshal Service were all involved. But up until this moment, ICE has not released a report, the FBI hasn't, or the Marshal Service. and they have all denied the cooperation or involvement in this operation. I'm not sure how legitimate this story is because she's only given out her first name and wants to be referred to as Marissa, but as soon as we have more, we'll keep everybody updated.
ICE is now targeting United States citizens, and we warned you this was going to happen and you didn't want to listen. So there's a doctor here in Connecticut, in my state, in my district of all places, that has received a letter from ICE, right, saying that you need to self-deport or legal action will be taken against you, i.e. we will come arrest you and throw you in a detention center. Well, you say, who's this doctor, Kyle? Well, this doctor is a white woman from Philadelphia who lives in Connecticut. From Philadelphia, who lives in Connecticut. Her name is Lisa Anderson. Can you get more of an Americanized name than Lisa Anderson? Also, there was a young man who was arrested while driving Uber Eats because he made a wrong turn in Michigan, ended up on a bridge that brought him into Canada, which, if you realize, Michigan and Canada, they touch like this, so it's very easy to cross the border there. And when he went to come back, oops, I made a wrong turn, still need to go to this house and deliver this food, turned around to come back, he instantly was detained by ICE and then deported to El Salvador. Remember, CCOT, the place where all the hardened criminals go? This was a young kid delivering Uber Eats. Guys, soon they're not going to care. They're going to come for me because I make videos that are anti-Trump. They're going to come for you because you have a disdain meme on your profile that says, I don't like the oligarchy, right? They're going to come for all of us. Something needs to happen. We need to get out this primary, and we need to vote out all of the Democrats that have no spine, that are doing nothing. And I'm talking specifically to the Democrat in my district who should be out there vocally speaking up for Lisa Anderson because she's an American citizen being targeted by ICE. Guys, it's that simple. If they're your constituent, you get out and protect them. That is what you do. That is what you're there for. That is why you're elected. Anyway, now that my blood pressure's up and I want to go fight the power, if you made it this, my name is Kyle Gauck. I got ahead of myself. My name is Kyle Gauck. I'm running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. I'm attempting to primary Joe Courtney, which is very important for everyone to know. We're not splitting the Democrat vote, and there is a primary election before the general election, and I need people to get out and vote in the primaries. If they don't vote in the primaries, the general will just automatically go to the incumbent, who is turning 80 years old, Joe Courtney. And he's been there for 20 years.
So someone who works with me had the ICE experience. In fact, my assistant texted me and she said, this person is late because there was ice in her house. And I thought because of the winter that it was like somehow ice was in her house. But ice was in her house. And so when she came to work, I asked her what the experience was like. She said this is what it was. She lives in an apartment building, and she said she has her papers, and she said she was fine. They took everybody out of the building and made them line up, but that kids were screaming, crying, and scared. Like, some people were very scared. Obviously, if you had a reason to be scared, you were scared, and kids were crying and scared. She's 70 years old, and she said she wasn't scared. Like, she just was listening to what they said and got her papers, and then it was done. But it's the first person that I personally know who I've heard having that experience where people knock on your door, make you line up, and tell you that they want to see your papers. So do you know anyone who's had this experience yet? Or have you? She lives in Jersey, if that's relevant.
Listen up, if you live in Florida or honestly anywhere in America, you need to hear this. Florida officials have just admitted that ICE raids and mass deportations are, quote, the new normal. Larry Keith, the executive director of Florida's Immigration Enforcement Board, he held a press conference today. And what he said is that Operation Tidal Wave has detained over 1,000 migrants in just 5 days, and they're not slowing down. In fact, he said their methods and their techniques, get this, will be the template for the entire country. They even have a 37-page document, a literal blueprint for how to deport as many people as possible. Florida is ground zero, and if this is the trial run, your state could be next. This is about more than policy. This is about families. It's about humanity, about who we choose to be as a country. Let me know, do you guys think mass deportation should be the new normal in America? Comment below. Follow me for more truth they don't want you to hear, and share this with someone who still thinks this will not affect them.
Let's watch this video of an ICE raid in Massachusetts, literally in someone's neighborhood, in a neighborhood. And There were 25, the video said 25 neighbors that came out to try to stop this ICE raid, to protest it, to make sure everyone knew their rights, to do whatever they could to get in the way of this ICE raid that was happening. And the video is so incredible because it's literally people of all ages. It's like old people, like really old people, young people, kids. Like it's literally people of all ages out there protesting. Like they got together as a frickin' neighborhood and we're like, absolutely not in our neighborhood, no frickin' way. And I don't know, it just like those videos like that give me just a little tiny bit of faith in humanity, tiny bit of faith in humanity. So if you want to watch it, it's in my reposts. Reminder, if you're a white person and that happens in your neighborhood, you need to be out there protesting too. And you need to be a voice for the people who can't be a voice right now. So watch the video, take notes because it's going to happen in all of our neighborhoods soon enough, and do what the people in Massachusetts did.
I don't care who you are not safe from these ICE raids. If you think that you are safe from ICE raids just because you're a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident or have legal status, you are dead wrong. We just discovered Trump's new quota system, and it is worse than you could possibly imagine. Trump's ICE agents have a new secret quota, 75 arrests per day per office. That's 1,800 people every single day. Here's the terrifying part. They're focused on numbers, not the bad guys. My clients with pending immigration cases arrested. People with clean records being arrested. Parents, workers being arrested. ICE even recently arrested a U.S. military veteran. When the goal is mass deportation now, due process, common sense, and public safety all goes right out the window.
Please watch all this because this is Donald Trump's America. They are terrorizing American citizens. Terrorizing American citizens. Watch this.
We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens. I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off. I kept asking them, like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house.
They ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed. The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house, taking their phones, laptops, documents, and their life savings in cash as evidence.
Like I have to feed my children. I'm gonna need gas money. I need to be able to get around. How do you just leave me like this, like an abandoned dog?
The suspect names on that search warrant were not Marissa's or anyone in her family's. They were, however, names listed on mail still arriving at the house. Former residents, perhaps.
My initial thought is we were being robbed. My daughters, my female daughters being kidnapped. You have guns pointed at our faces. Can you just reprogram yourself and see us as humans?
Family, it is so sad having to see the ICE agents use a lot of force on American citizens, documented Americans, you know, people who have permanent residence in America. They do not even have time to counter check their records. Once they get an order to go to your home, they just break in and initiate the arrests using a lot of force. Some of these instances are actually wrong, you know, documentation. They are told to go in certain apartments, certain houses. Then now once they are there, they were intending even to arrest the initial owners, but now they do not cross-check. Once they get there, they start initiating the arrest, and they do it in such a way that would actually shock you. I nearly shedded tears when I saw a police officer, an ICE agent, getting into somebody's home who has, you know, a newborn kid, a newborn baby, and they just push in and proceed with the arrests. They do not care about anything. Some of these people are even shouting and saying, yo, I'm an American citizen. You know, I'm citizen. Stop initiating what you're doing. I am an American citizen. They do not care to listen. Their goal is to arrest you. And there's this lawyer from the video who says that allegedly there's a new order from the Trump office to ensure that there are more and more arrests. Are they trying to create houses or to create space for the white South Africans who are now jetting into America? What is happening in America? Babylon is indeed falling? Is this judgment through the actions that the American leadership has been doing over the years? Is this what Americans are getting, after years of discrimination of black people? What is happening in America? For me, I think that this is actually spiritual than you all can see, from a physical realm. This is too spiritual. There is a lot of chaos, in America, especially in the second term of the United States President Donald Trump. What is happening in the US? I even do not know how to explain. How would ICE agents arrest even US citizens? They are harassing American citizens. They're also even stealing from their homes allegedly. Most of the search warrants are of previous home owners, and they do not care to cross-check, And having these orders to ensure that they arrest as many people as possible is just making it even worse, because now they do not have, they do not have a lot of accuracy with their arrests, and I do not like the nature in which they arrest people. I've seen kids being taken forcefully. Kids seeing their parents being taken away. It's really, really crazy and even traumatizing seeing these people use the force they are using. I went further to do my research on why ICE has been making a lot of arrests on US citizens. Why are they mistaking people? Why are they making wrong arrests? What's the motive behind this? So ICE, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, have arrested U.S. citizens in some cases, but these are typically due to mistaken identity, flawed databases, or inadequate procedures, not intentional targeting. Here's a breakdown why this happens. Family, I think that this is actually an excuse that the ICE agents use, after doing wrong arrests. This is actually not real. You cannot have mistaken identity for more than 5 homes. You cannot have flawed databases each and every day as you're initiating your arrest. You cannot have inadequate procedures each and every time. There is something that is pushing these ICE agents to even make the wrong arrests. ICE sometimes relies on local law enforcement data or old records that may be incorrect or outdated. Most of these records are outdated. Why are they using them even? They can come up with modern ways to try and trace these people. They are doing it with a lot of pressure. And one thing that consistently comes to my head is the fact that right now we are seeing, the white South Africans being given the privilege that now the usual American does not have. We're seeing them getting a refugee status. Their country is not in any way being attacked. They are not being attacked. Their lives are not in danger. They are not going through famine, but they have gotten a refugee status, a permit to live in America. They'll be getting a lot of privileges. They'll be given money monthly. They'll be getting mobile phones, probably housing, and maybe citizenship, but now we are seeing the force that ICE is using on America's own citizens. What is the motive behind this? They're even saying that they have some of the reasons is because they have flawed databases. Their database may lack complete or updated citizenship information. Naturalized citizens or people born in the US may not appear correctly in the federal systems, especially if their documentation wasn't properly processed or recorded. But why do they not, do the arrest with decorum? Why can't they come to your home and ask for the legal papers to get to be able to see if actually you're a citizen or not? Because this is becoming so much unbearable. They're failing to verify. There have been reports that ICE officers are failing to properly verify citizenship before arresting individuals. We've seen in these videos, this saddening, this just heartbreaking. The systems have issues also. The aggressive enforcement practices, especially under certain policies, have led to broader sweeps that sometimes catch US citizens in error. How many US citizens will they, be arresting, in error each and every time. There have been well-documented cases where US citizens, including people born in the US, being wrongfully detained or nearly deported. These include cases like Peter Sean Brown of Florida, detained for weeks despite being a US citizen. We also have Francisco Galacia of Texas, held for over 3 weeks even though he had proof of citizenship. Enough is enough. I just pray that God rescues America. There's this Black American friend of mine who recently relocated to Kenya. He once told me that the reason as to why he came back to the motherland is the fact that he knew that Babylon is soon falling, that Babylon will be under constant pressure. Systems won't be working for people in America. He also told me that he knew that inflation would be crazy. People will start fighting against each other and Babylon will be unbearable. And this was his motive, to just move outside of America and ensure that he gets peace in Africa. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this analogy that Babylon is actually falling, that Babylon is facing punishment. These are the repercussions that the leadership of the US is getting after many years of oppression amongst the black communities. Guys, like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users. Last but not least, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and guys, we can never do it without your support. I highly recommend that you share my work with your friends and family. Thank you guys, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.